And we want to welcome Carlos Samaniego to the program. And Carlos is the founder of Tax Debt Consultants. He is an enrolled agent and an NTPI Fellow, which is an elite group of professionals with significant expertise in representing taxpayers before the IRS. Good morning, Carlos.
Good morning, Celinda. Pleasure to meet you guys.
Thank you for being with us. And so, Carlos, this is going to be probably another difficult year like last year with all of the, the folks receiving checks and such like that. And then, just all kinds of things. The caseload with the IRS is unbelievable. They are apparently short employees. What does all this mean to the taxpayers?
It means that the IRS is broken. And Celinda, I apologize for the sirens. I literally just flew into Vegas to speak at an event, and guess what's coming by? Sirens. But,
no.
Hey, but that's a perfect example of an emergency that is happening right now at the IRS. Celinda, the IRS is broken. Right now, there are 24 million taxpayers behind in regards to tax returns being filed. And what does that mean to the taxpayer, your listeners, is that things are going to get slowed down. If the tax returns aren't filed correctly the first time around, there is a very good chance tax returns and refunds could be delayed for up to a year. If you imagine, if there's still 24 million tax returns haven't been filed since last year, and now we have all these tax returns that are getting ready that are being filed right now, that could just create nightmares for taxpayers.
Well, are we ever going to get a break from those guys? I mean, that sounds oversimplified, I'm sure, but they forgive this, they forgive that. The hell everybody's gone through. They've sent out so much money that people spent and didn't think it was going to show up on an income. I mean, all kinds of messes. Is there a way to just go, look, let's just start over? Everybody get on board, and there's an amnesty deal for Americans instead of for illegals.
Yeah, you know what? I just wish they would get their act together. And you know what? People say, is the IRS really doing, why is it all happening? The biggest reason it's happening is obviously we just dealt with this whole pandemic thing. It shut down millions of businesses. Well, it also affected the government agencies, right? A lot of people don't realize is that most of these IRS personnel, they're all working from home. So this last year when people were sending in their tax returns or responding to notices, guess where they were going? They were literally going into storage units, into trucks, and none of that mail was being opened up. So now here's the challenge. You have all this backed up stuff going on, right? They don't have the funding to actually get individuals to open up the mail, process this mail, and guess what? And no congressperson wants to go back home and say, hey, can you give us some more funding so we can get more IRS people so we can come after you for more taxes?
So what's the address of this warehouse so I can send Sparky the fire dog over to take a look?
I have a crazy story in regards to that. I have a taxpayer that sent a check for $60,000. They were paying last year's tax bill. So they sent their $60,000 check, 7 months, nobody cashed the check at the IRS. And they started getting collection notices from the IRS because they hadn't paid that $60,000 tax bill. So you imagine how frustrated that taxpayer was.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I paid my tax bill. I sent them the check, but they haven't opened the check. Where was it? Probably in one of these storage units. So they have to hire me to connect with the IRS. We got special numbers that we have that we can connect to the IRS a little bit faster than the average taxpayer. So I can kind of work with them to let them know, hey, this money was paid. And eventually what we had to do is cancel that check and issue another check. And that was actually a mistake she made. She should never have sent the check. I advise taxpayers, especially taxpayers like your listeners there, to always pay online if you can. Never send anything by mail, especially money. At least online, you get a verification instantly that you sent that money.
And they are short so many workers at the IRS. Plus, I was reading something Friday or Thursday or something that they're computers are so antiquated. It's not even. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, they have what I've heard.
DOS.
Still computers from the 70s and 80s. Most of their listeners are probably on some smartphone, and their smartphone is 1,000 times smarter than probably some of the software that they have there.
Oh my gosh. And let's talk about audits and some of the things that are red flags to the IRS. Should they catch them? I mean, I don't know with the situation like it is right now, but clue our listeners in on what would trigger an audit.
Yeah, some of the things that would trigger an audit, believe it or not, are really basic things. Most audits are initially triggered by the IRS's antiquated computer algorithm, right? It just catches something that doesn't look right on the return. And what are some things that don't look right? And here's a real simple one. Not reporting all the income that you actually earned. That's very simple. And people are like, well, what do you mean not reporting all my income? I get my W-2 or my 1099s, but remember, so many people nowadays are doing investing through everything from Robinhood, Acorns. They're doing a lot of little side things or have retirement accounts. And remember back in the day when we would actually get all our tax stuff in the mail and we collect that and take it to our tax person? Well, nowadays what happens is that a lot of these companies don't do that by mail. What do? They send you an email saying it's online. Go download your tax documents. In fact, yesterday evening, I actually got my 1099 email that was in my spam email that says your 1099 is available for download for your taxes. So in regards to an audit, if you don't bring all your documentation and you file the return, that's an automatic trigger for a possible audit because you didn't report all the income that you got. And that's one of the biggest ones I'm seeing right now.
And what are you telling people to do with regard to the checks that came from the government, that JR mentioned?
Are you talking about the stimulus checks?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Here's something that's really important, and the government has already brought this to our attention. IRS has said, make sure if you got any type of stimulus, any child tax credit, that has to be reported on your 2021 taxes. So the government did send 2 IRS notices to every taxpayer that got any of that type of stimulus money that needs to be given to your tax professional. It has to be reconciled on the taxes. A lot of people think that they're being taxed on that money. You're not being taxed on it, but it does have to be reconciled. And if that's not being reconciled on your 2021 tax return, or you get the amounts incorrect, that's what I was talking about earlier. How it can actually delay your tax return for up to a year because it's going to be manually processed because the numbers aren't matching in regards to that money.
What is the IRS, since they're so far behind technologically and everything else?
Uh-huh.
What do they plan on doing with cryptocurrency?
Ooh, crypto! It's the big one this year because there's so many people that are kind of dabbling in it. There's a lot of these younger people that are dabbling in it, not realizing the taxability of it. One of the things that's happened in the last 2 years, it started, I believe it was last year. If you ever look at a 1040 tax return, it's literally under your name, and so your name, social security number, your address. There's one question: did you buy, trade, exchange any type of cryptocurrency? Yes or no? It's a basic yes or no question. One, you better answer that correctly. If you were playing with it, traded it, bought it, sold it, talk to a tax professional, see if you have to report that as a yes or no. Because what they're going to do, we talked about audits earlier, there's a very good chance you're going to be audited. If you put no and they found out that you were doing that, audit trigger. And a lot of the stuff that's happening with cryptocurrency is a taxable event, and a lot of people not realizing. And here's a perfect example. Had a 18-year-old kid come to me last year. He said, Carlos, why do I have a bill for $18,000? And I said, and I looked at the documentation. I go, did you do any crypto? He goes, oh, I bought something, but I traded it for something else. That's not taxable. I go, yes, sir, it is. Now you got an $18,000 tax bill.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if anybody, if your listeners are listening to this and you dealt anything with cryptocurrency, Dogecoin, that's a cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, that's a cryptocurrency. Anything. You need to talk to a tax professional to make sure that gets reported correctly. And for all you guys out there saying, well, the government doesn't know, it's crypto, it's private, nobody knows about it. The government knows.
Oh, no, the government knows, trust me. Hey, what about the deal a couple of months back where, I don't know if it's going to have to be reported, but there was a conversation about withdrawals or purchases over $600 were going to come under the scrutiny of somebody. Did that happen or not happen, or where are we on that little mess?
You know what? There's a lot of mass confusion in regards to that. It's not so much the withdrawal of $600. It's if you're earning any type of income that exceeds $600, that these companies are going to be issuing these 1099 forms. And a perfect example, like eBay. You know, people would buy and sell stuff through eBay, and they're going to start issuing 1099. So, you know, if you bought something from a yard sale, sold it on eBay, and if there's over $600, you're going to actually get a 1099. If you're using a lot of these bank apps that has, you know, where you can send money to friends.
Venmo.
Yeah, Venmo. I don't use it very much, but there's a lot of people that do. I always get, hey, can I send you Venmo? Me personally, no, don't send me Venmo, because I just don't want the government knowing what's being sent to me in regards to personal. That it's not income. It's just, hey, I'm giving my daughter some money, things like that. And what you want to do is make sure that you actually mark that as personal and business. So it's coming full around to that question. It's if you're earning money and it's more than $600, it's going to be reported. The government realizes that there was just a lot of people earning side money at a lot of these different places, getting it through Venmo and a variety of places like that, and wasn't reporting it. The government wants their fair share.
Is it 600 on the year or 600 per event?
No, it's 600 for the year, not per event. So
Okay.
that can actually add up pretty quick.
Sure can. We have been talking this morning to Carlos Samaniego. And Carlos, where are you based out of?
I'm out of Southern California, down by Palm Springs, California.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is the author of the book, How to Make the IRS an Offer They Can't Refuse. And Carlos, tell our listeners how they might get that book.
Yeah, I got a great thing for your listeners. If you wanted to go spend $15 and buy that book on Amazon, please do. But if your readers want that book for free, just go to taxdebtbook.com, and I'll give them that book for free. Taxdebtbook.com.
I'm going to have to report that as income.
No. And we've been speaking. Thank you so much to Carlos Samaniego for getting up early with us, IRS expert. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great morning.
You too. Bye-bye.